Hello, I'm Karen Giannoni. You're watching BBC News, the headlines. Israel's plan to allow foreign aid drops back into Gaza has been called a distraction, as it's estimated as many as 90,000 women and children in the Gaza Strip urgently need treatment for malnutrition. President Trump is mixing business with pleasure on a private trip to Scotland, teeing off at his golf course ahead of meetings with Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer and First Minister of Scotland John Swinney. Cross-border fighting between Thailand and Cambodia is continuing for a third day. The Thai military says Cambodians attacked in a new area near the coast in the south, but were pushed back. Resident doctors in England who are striking for a second day say they won't back down until they get a credible pay offer from the government. The Lionesses are gearing up to defend their Euros title. They take on Spain in the final in Basel on Sunday. So as we were just hearing, thousands of resident doctors, previously known as junior doctors in England, are beginning the second of 5 days of strike action over pay. The NHS says it's trying to keep as many services as possible running, but some disruption is inevitable. Simon Jones reports.
What do we want?
Pay restoration!
When do we want it?
Now!
The picket lines have been back in Oxford and in Birmingham.
Being a doctor is a stressful job. You've got patients' lives in your hands. The last thing doctors want to worry about is being able to pay their bills.
What do we want? Pay restoration! Now!
Members of the Doctors' Union, the BMA, say a pay deal of 22% over the last 2 years, plus a 5.4% award this year, isn't enough to compensate for inflation, and they are demanding more. But this 3-year-old from Bradford is feeling the effect. An operation to remove a potentially cancerous mass on her lung has been cancelled.
We are just about come to terms with everything that's going to happen, what she's going to go through, how we're going to deal with it emotionally, me and my wife as a couple. And it's we just got a call to say, look, unfortunately it's been cancelled. But yeah, it's been difficult.
At this hospital in Wolverhampton, some operating theatres have been left empty as procedures are cancelled. But those patients who were being seen have mixed views on the walkout.
If they all down tools totally and says, right, we want more money, the government would have to pay them.
When the doctors have come in, the doctor's been fantastic, but I guess it would have been great if I could have seen them sooner.
NHS England has told hospitals only to cancel non-urgent work in exceptional circumstances.
We've tried our best to reduce and minimise the number of cancellations and rescheduling of appointments and operations. From what I hear from local trusts and regions, they have been able to continue activity yesterday with minimal disruption.
The government have condemned the strikes as reckless and unnecessary. Simon Jones, BBC News.
Now, as we've been talking about a lot, England's Lionesses have been training today. Their last session before Sunday's Euros final in Switzerland. They play Spain, who they lost to in the World Cup final 2 years ago. Reigning champions England have had a roller-coaster tournament. Midfielder Ella Toone admitted the team performance hadn't made it easy for the manager.
I mean, I think we've nearly killed her twice this tournament. She said we've definitely aged her. But no, you know, I think that's 5 consecutive tournaments for Sarina being in a final, and that's just unbelievable. We know we're in good hands. We know she's a manager who can take teams right to the final, and yeah.
Well, many people are making a long journey to see that final, including Sally Ford, Richard Eason and his son Sam. They're all Lioness fans. They're right now on a ferry in the Channel. They're driving from the UK to Basel. They hadn't met before the trip and they're joining us now. We can see you. It's great to have you in vision because we've been looking at the picture. It's been slightly ropey, but how are things going? How is the crossing?
Yeah, the crossing's fine. Yeah, we've managed to find our way into the first class lounge. To use Irish Ferries' best internet connection for BBC News. So, yeah, all going well.
I'm actually quite impressed that the connection is giving you the ability to talk to us like this, because it's not always the way on a ferry. Tell me the recent history of this trip and how it came about. When did you decide you were going to do this?
So I went out to the semis and came back on Wednesday, started looking for a ticket, and then obviously needed to find a way out to Basel. So I started looking at the flights, which were really expensive. And then in stepped Richard.
Well, I went to the men's final last year with Sam in Berlin, and I promised him if the women got to the final, we would go to Switzerland as well. And unfortunately, our two friends couldn't make it because they'd quite rudely gone to Florida this year instead. So I thought, I've got a half-empty car, so I sent a message out, and Sally snapped me up on the offer.
Oh, that's brilliant. So you put a message out. Wow. And it's going to be quite a journey. Once you get to Calais, you've got to drive to Basel. How have you prepared for this? You must be being kept going by excitement.
Yeah, I think we worked out we probably had about 8 hours sleep between all three of us. So it's going to be a long day, but yeah, the excitement's keeping us going. And tomorrow is just going to be amazing. So we'll be up and ready to get at them.
Now, I believe one of you actually had a dream about the score for this final. And are you taking that prediction seriously?
Well, so I had a dream the night after the semi-finals that we won 1-0 and Leah Williamson scored the winning goal from a set piece. So hopefully Captain Fantastic comes through and dreams really do come true. Oh, so much so I actually had a bet on it. So she's going to make me a lot of money if she does the business.
I think
Even
we'll be
better.
set now.
And I imagine Sam's there with you, Richard. What's he making of it all?
He's absolutely loving every second of it. We're just desperately trying to see if we can get tickets off now. Otherwise, we'll be in the fan park again. But if it's anything like last year, it's absolutely amazing. The atmosphere is amazing. And I was going to say it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, but this is twice in your lifetime already you've been to be able to go and watch them. And it's just an experience that you can keep with them forever.
Well, we really, really hope the rest of your journey goes smoothly, like your ferry crossing, and you get there and you get tickets. And thanks so much to all of you for telling us about how you met under these unusual circumstances in a car share to go and watch the final. Thank you so much, Sally, Richard, and your son, Sam.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's coming in.
And they are on their way to Basel. This is what we're expecting from Zurich. It is the news conference that England coach Sarina Wiegman will be giving. Leah Williamson, captain, will be alongside her, I believe, and we will be going to that as soon as it begins about the forthcoming final in Basel on Sunday evening. In the meantime, let's catch up with some other news. The TV presenter Greg Wallace says he's so sorry to anyone he hurt, but denies allegations of sexual misconduct made against him. In an interview with the Sun newspaper, the former MasterChef presenter also defended his co-host John Torode, who was sacked for using a racist term. The BBC has confirmed that a new series of MasterChef, which was recorded before the presenters were sacked, will still be broadcast. Cambodia has called for an immediate ceasefire with Thailand as cross-border fighting is continuing for a third day, raising fears of a full-blown war. Both countries have been using heavy weapons after a long-running border dispute turned violent on Thursday. Thailand has evacuated more than 130,000 civilians and declared martial law in some border areas. Jonathan Head reports from the Thai-Cambodia border.
For a second day, the guns boomed across the Thai-Cambodian border. This is a Thai artillery unit. They kept this up until nightfall. A long stretch of territory on the border has now been emptied. On a 1-hour drive, we hardly saw a soul. But in among the trees, in schools and temples, there are now thousands of Thai soldiers. Though in this village a handful of men had stayed behind, worried about what would happen to their houses.
And nearly all the villages right along this border for hundreds of kilometres have been evacuated. But for those who've chosen to stay to look after their homes or their livestock, these rudimentary shelters have been built to protect them from Cambodian rockets. And there have been almost constant artillery exchanges throughout the morning, both outgoing from here and coming back from the other side.
Their families have been moved far from the shells and rockets. This is a sports complex in the city of Surin. It's just a roof over their heads and a sleeping mat on the floor. Though the Thai authorities are running a slick relief operation with plenty of food and water, and even a designated area for evacuated pets. But it has been a traumatic experience. We heard the loud bangs, so we gathered all our important belongings, said Joy. We had to wait so long for a ride to safety, as all the cars leaving our village were full. Now, all they can do is wait for the guns to be silenced by diplomacy, so they can go home.
Well, a little earlier we heard from Jonathan, who's on the Thai-Cambodia border and watched Thai army convoys moving through the area.
Well, the Thai side has not responded to that. In other words, they're not accepting that at the moment. They haven't made any statement about a ceasefire. They have rejected third-party mediation. Thailand also stresses that there must be a discussion, some kind of dialogue with Cambodia to resolve this, that diplomacy will be needed. But for the moment, I think, reading between the lines, Thailand has not yet completed its military objectives, and we've seen enormous amounts of Thai military activity on the roads around here, great long convoys with battle tanks there, armoured personnel carriers, lots of gun emplacements. They were quiet earlier in the morning, but from about 11:30 local time a few hours ago, those guns started firing shells over into the Cambodian side. Quite regular salvos of shells detonating through the air here, and we've been told by the Thai military they've also deployed their fighter jets to bomb Cambodian positions. The Thai view is this, that the Cambodians need to be pushed back from positions that they've occupied and they say have reinforced, and that they won't be happy until they've pummeled them and driven them back, and also that they've destroyed some of the weaponry that was used in the rocket attacks on Thursday that caused so many civilian casualties on this side. So as far as the Thai military is concerned, there is still more fighting to be done, even though everyone expects eventually diplomacy will have to get the upper hand.
Jonathan Head. One of the world's rarest species of shark has been spotted off the coast of Cardigan Bay in Wales. Underwater cameras recorded a critically endangered angel shark. The Wildlife Trust of South and West Wales says the sighting shows the importance of protecting the seabed from the practice of bottom trawling that involves dragging huge fishing nets along the ocean floor. Now let's just show you what is currently the most watched video on the BBC News website and app. Take a look at this. It is the moment an experimental air scooter took off from the French coast. The aim was to fly it across the English Channel to the famous White Cliffs of Dover, but things didn't go quite to plan. Here is the moment that pilot Frankie Zapata was plunged into the water just 17 minutes into the flight. He was rescued though and brought back to dry land. Lots more on our website. Now, 7-year-old River Lucia was born with a rare condition which meant one leg was shorter than the other. Last summer, her family made the decision to amputate her left foot so she could be fitted with a prosthetic. Already running, jumping and riding her bike, she hopes her story will inspire other children with limb differences to have fun and stay active. Our reporter Jill Dummigan has been to meet her.
Stand up tall.
Today, 7-year-old River Lucia is in for a routine checkup. She was born with a condition called fibular hemimelia in her left leg, which meant it was much shorter than her right one.
She's missing the fibular bone in the lower part of her left leg. So she had adapted shoes and splints up until the age of 6.
In her case, the increasing difference in length could only be treated by multiple leg lengthening surgeries, which can cause serious complications, or by an amputation.
It was the most difficult decision of our lives. We could have done it earlier when she was a baby, but we held back and we wanted to see how her foot would grow. We waited until she was at an age to understand it all, shown her pictures, introduced other children, and when we shown River Lucia the two options, she was amputation straight away.
So last July, River Lucia had her left foot removed.
It was such a shock. You can prepare yourself all you like, but until you're actually there, it was all questions going on in my head. I couldn't sleep. It's, am I making the right decision? Are we going to regret this?
This centre treats around 150 children who will stay under its care for the rest of their lives.
We see patients at prenatal, we see expectant mothers, and then right after the child's born they will be seen by us, and we will support that family through the emotional side, through the physical side, through the development stages, all the way through.
But River Lucia surprised everyone.
She just got up. She was walking 17 hours on a Zimmer frame after surgery. She wanted out of the bed straight away, and I was like, wow, how are you even doing this?
Leah posted videos of her daughter's progress on Instagram to motivate her and help other families in a similar situation.
She just came out of a shell, and it was like, this is who she's meant to be. She's got so much more confidence. She's not at my side anymore. She's not needing me there for support. She must feel so confident in this leg.
What are your favourite things to do then? What do you like doing best?
Swimming, climbing, riding my bike, and running.
We do have struggles at home, getting from A to B, and sometimes we do need the wheelchair, but 8 out of 10 she's doing what other kids can do. It feels good because we know we've made the right decision. She's just given it her all. Everything she's doing is just giving it her all.
Jill Dummigan, BBC News.
Since the ban on single-use vapes came into force in June, police and trading standards say many shops have taken to selling them under the counter, along with counterfeit tobacco. Our reporter Simon Spark joined officers in Grimsby for raids on 3 shops on the high street, and they found thousands of illegal vapes and cigarettes hidden in some unexpected places.
Possibility of filling sliding panels in walls, floors, ceilings.
3 shops targeted at the same time on Freeman Street in Grimsby, each shop just yards away from the other. But trading standards, assisted by Humberside Police, are acting on intelligence suggesting illegal vapes and cigarettes are being hidden at each of the premises. And it's not long before Stuart and his dog Griff get a result.
As soon as he came in here, he had a change of behaviour, and I knew that we were looking at something that was going to be hidden high up. So all of these are illegal vapes. There we are. Good. An awful lot of cigarettes and hand-rolling tobacco, all of which is illegal. They put these concealments up high because they think that the dogs can't detect things high. But as you will have seen in here, the dog was onto it within. We hadn't even been in the shop for 2 minutes. The dog has indicated, and we've got a considerable quantity of illegal vapes hidden amongst these big electric units in this building. Overall, this for one shop, it's a considerable seizure for trading standards.
The second shop proved more difficult. Griff indicating on empty cases where illegal items had been, but eventually there was more success in finding more hidden items.
There you go. There you go. There's a lot in here. We've got a basic concealment containing illegal tobacco products. About half of that is counterfeit brands, so fake cigarettes. And then there's a lot of illicit whites as well, so cigarettes that are not allowed for in the UK market.
And despite strong indications in the third shop and even a price list for the illegal goods,
Marlborough Gold £7, Manchester £5, Richmond £4.
nothing was found here.
It is a reoccurring problem that some of these premises that we've raided this morning have been raided before. I think government needs to bring in clearer legislation that we're able to deal with. We could raid this today, it will be back trading tomorrow, and that's how frequent it's happening. I think that we need to be more severe with the levels of fines and prison sentences that we can give out.
Trading standards estimate around £50,000 worth of illegal and counterfeit goods were seized from the first shop alone. The courts will now decide the punishment, but this widespread problem through organised criminal gangs on our high streets doesn't seem to be about to disappear anytime soon. Simon Spark, BBC News.
Now, social media is filled with fitness tips and videos showing buff bodies, but a young TikToker is racking up millions of views with his videos of care home fitness sessions. Bailey Greetham wanted to show the joy exercise can give whatever your age. His heartwarming videos showing grannies how to box are proving super popular. Kathy Killick reports.
Hey, good morning everybody. How are we doing? We okay? We okay? Hi Betty.
Well, Betty might be trying a run for it, but there's no escaping the enthusiasm of 22-year-old Bailey Greetham. His care home exercise sessions have become the stuff of legend.
Yeah, there you go, lovely.
He started posting videos on TikTok, capturing the sweet moments that made his day. And unsurprisingly, they've really taken off.
Oh, whoa! What was that? Where did that come from? You nearly knocked my moustache off.
Exercise is absolutely what we're about, and we're here to do that. But for me, it's about making sure that people are together and happy and joyful. And then if we do a little bit more movement, then that's just a special bonus. So mixing all that together, smiles, joy, laughter and exercise, then that's just the perfect session.
Andrea has a special place in her heart for Bailey, and here's why.
I had a stroke 4 years ago in this hand. I'm dead on this hand, can't move it. And it's been moving, he helps me move it.
Paul, look at that, Andrea, come on!
First and foremost is it gets us all together. And so we can have a laugh if somebody drops a ball or something like that. You can just laugh at each other.
You don't feel as you're taking anything too seriously, but we get in there. Oh, him? Yeah. It's lovely. I could take him home with me.
Not only does it help with mobility and movement, dexterity, hand-eye coordination, it's a massive, massive help with our social interaction. They tweak all our exercises to make sure everybody can join in.
Bailey was taken in by his grandparents when he was going through a rough time, and that's given him a special rapport with older people that really shines through.
I think you hang around these lot enough and you start to pick up the lingo, you start to pick up the banter, you know what works, you know what doesn't. If you were to put me on stage in front of a bunch of 20-year-olds, I think there'd be crickets, but in here, I'm like a stand-up comedian, so yeah.
Bailey's videos have been viewed more than 2.5 million times, proving that simple games with fun and laughter make a heartwarming mix across all generations.
Now, Black Sabbath co-founder Tony Iommi has described the loss of his bandmate Ozzy Osbourne as like losing a brother. The singer died on Tuesday at the age of 76. Tony, who was best friends with Ozzy for almost 60 years, has been speaking to our reporter Joan Cummins about his life and legacy.
It's been difficult because it's just a shock, really. As soon as I heard, I was in shock, and I haven't been able to get myself organised properly since hearing this. It's been really strange, and the same for Geezer. I spoke to Geezer, who's back in the States, and he's much the same. He just can't pull himself together. It really has affected us bad.
You've lost your friend.
Yes, and that is devastating. I find it difficult at the moment to really accept that. I still think he's there, and I still go to text him and stuff, and I think, oh, he's not there anymore. It's really weird, and I think that's going to take a long time, because it's losing a brother.
You were all together 2 weeks ago, just over 2 weeks ago, doing that absolutely phenomenal performance. What were rehearsals like leading up to that moment?
Well, we'd rehearse, and then Ozzy'd come down, but we didn't want to do too much with Oz because he was under a lot of pressure, and he really wanted to do it, but at the same time we didn't want to push him into let's do that again or let's do that again. But I'm glad we did it, and I'm glad we did it for Oz because it really did motivate him, and I've been talking to him a lot over the years, and this really gave him a new lease to work up to. You know, he had something to work towards doing, It was really worth doing, and for all of us, for the band to be together on our final thing, and not knowing Ozzy was going to pass away shortly afterwards, but just to get together again, because we've been trying to get the original four back for years.
People will be surprised that you would ring up and have a chat. What would you be chatting about without being too personal?
You wouldn't want to know. What Ozzy and I talk about is always I've had this pain in my side. Oh, my arm's playing up, oh, my foot. It's been one of them, you know. We always start off like that. And then, what's the weather like there?
What would be a fitting tribute to Ozzy, do you think?
I don't know. You know, you could say a statue or a figure, but I think also the band should have something like that, because we've all been a team, and we're going to go at some point. But I think that would be the thing. Probably a statue would be. I can't think what else it'd be. I think he'd be happy that everybody remembers him and everybody loves him and everybody's come out like they have.
Black Sabbath founder Tony Iommi. Now let's just remind you, we're waiting for that news conference from the England Lionesses before the final against Spain on Sunday.
Thwaites Glacier, it's an incredibly alluring and attractive place to go. I was really excited to visit because every coastline in the world will be changed by what happens in that part of Antarctica. So it's all the more important that we get there with our cameras and show people the changes that are taking place.
So we've been filming out here for an hour and a half, and this is the result. And it gives you an idea of why it's so hard to operate here.
But there's also a story about getting to where we're going. It took us 5 weeks to get to the front of the glacier. Only 4 people had ever been there before.
It has taken years of preparation to get the scientists out here.
And because of all the delays, what I didn't expect was to be camping on ice for 5 weeks.
It's shocking, and you know, we should all be upset by what's happening here.
This is a really important story. This is something people need to know. And if we can understand it, we can do something about it.
Live from London, this is BBC News. Israel's green light to foreign aid airdrops into Gaza has been dubbed a distraction, a UN agency saying it will not reverse the deepening starvation in the Strip. President Trump tees off on his first full day in Scotland, while protesters take to the streets in the capital. And the Lionesses have their game faces on with just one sleep until the Euros final against Spain. We'll take you live very soon to Basel, where the team's about to hold a media conference. Hello, I'm Karen Giannoni. Welcome to the programme. Let's take you straight to Basel in Switzerland because we are just a day away from the final of the Women's Euros. We're expecting to hear from both teams today. England coach Sarina Wiegman is due to speak very soon. Now, the Lionesses are defending Euros champions. They'll take on Spain in the final. We'll hear from Spain a little later in their news conference. Football fans might recall this pairing is a rematch of last year's Women's World Cup. A loss for the Lionesses in that meeting. They will, of course, be looking for a win tomorrow. We will be back there as soon as they get talking. Now, pubs in England and Wales will be able to stay open for longer tomorrow for England's Euro final against Spain. Licensing hours have been extended to allow premises to keep serving until 1 a.m. The Lionesses have been taking part in their final training session in Zurich this morning ahead of Sunday's game. Our sports editor Dan Rowan has more from there.
Well, the encouraging news for the manager, Sarina Wiegman, Karen, is that all 23 of her players trained a short while ago here in Zurich in their final session before they make the short journey to Basel from their base that they've been at for the last month later on today. There has been a question mark over forward Lauren James, but as you can see, she showed no ill effects from the slight ankle injury that she picked up in the semi-final against Italy this week. She had to come off at half-time, and yesterday Wiegman admitted that she didn't know whether or not she would be fit enough to start in the final tomorrow, but the signs from this morning's session were good. These no longer, of course, are unusual occasions for England. They were in the final of the last Euros 3 years ago. They won that, of course. The year later, they were in the World Cup final. They lost that to their opponents tomorrow, Spain, and so this is a chance to make amends for that. It's a mouth-watering prospect. Two very evenly matched teams. Both have beaten each other already this season. And, of course, the added motivation for England is that if they can prevail tomorrow in this match, it'll be the first time that a senior England team in either men's or women's football has won a major title overseas or indeed retained a major title. So when the squad leave here later on today, they'll have a huge amount to aim for tomorrow.
Dan Rowan, let's just show you the room where they will be speaking in Basel. There are many media waiting. It's running slightly late, this news conference, expecting Sarina Wiegman to come out very shortly. We will be back there when she does, and Leah Williamson at her side, we expect as well. Now, my colleague Emma Vardy's in Basel. She has been talking to fans.
And it's just amazing. I can't believe this will be the second Euro final that I've been at with the Lionesses, so brilliant.
And how does it compare now, watching England, compared to 25 years ago, those first games you went to?
Massively different. So 2,500 people at the first game I watched, and now we've got over 10,000, 15,000, 20,000. So it's fantastic to see the support grow and just the love for the women's game. And yeah, I feel quite tingly and proud of them, really. So yeah, really good.
Brilliant. What a journey. You've been watching a long time as well, haven't you? Tell us who you've got with you here today and how did this trip all come about?
So I've got my two granddaughters and obviously Suzanne, my bestie, and she and I have been going to the matches for so long. And it's always been my dream that one day my granddaughters will want to watch women's football, and they do. So I just said to their mum and dad, can I take them? And they said, as long as they're not at school, you can take them. So I said, okay, we're going to Switzerland then. I'll get the tickets. I got them last October, and here we are.
And Lionesses have done it for you. Amazing, amazing. Girls, what does it mean to you to be here?
It's crazy because, especially as it's the second one, it's just like, it feels surreal.
Yeah. How are you feeling about it? How have you enjoyed the tournament so far?
The past few games have been quite nerve-wracking, but this time. I'm really excited for it. Yeah.
Not long to wait now till that big moment.
No.
Talk about nerve-wracking. I mean, England's journey to the final, you'd have no nails left. I mean, penalty shootouts, leaving it late. My goodness, what have been the standout moments for you?
Oh, I think when Lucy Bronze put that penalty away, then I thought, yeah, we're here, we're good. And she was so determined, and I thought, yeah, we're fine, we'll be fine now. Just incredible, absolutely incredible.
They like leaving it late, though, don't they? What are our chances tomorrow night? What do you think?
Winners have to be. You've got to believe in the Lionesses. They always pull it out of the bag. So fingers crossed they'll do that tomorrow too. Yeah.
Emma Vardy on the streets of Basel. Elsewhere in Basel, you'll see what we're looking at. It is the room where the news conference, the Lionesses news conference, is due to take place very soon. England manager Sarina Wiegman and captain Leah Williamson will be speaking to the media before that final in just over 24 hours' time. And we were expecting it at 1600 hours UK time. It is running somewhat late, but we are expecting also the Spain manager and captain to give a news conference in about 45 minutes time as well, which we will bring you. But that is what we are looking at, and we will come to that as soon as we see Sarina Wiegman and Leah Williamson walk in. Now, many people are making a long journey to see that final, including Sally Ford, Richard Eason, as well as his son Sam. They are all Lioness fans. They're driving to the UK from the UK to Basel, and they joined us from on board the ferry between Dover and Calais. I asked them how it was going so far.
Yeah, the crossing's fine. Yeah, we've managed to find our way into the first class lounge to use Irish Ferry's best internet connection for BBC News. So yeah, all going well.
I'm actually quite impressed that the connection is giving you the ability to talk to us like this, because it's not always the way on a ferry. Tell me the recent history of this trip and how it came about. When did you decide you were going to do this?
So I went out to the semis and came back on Wednesday, started looking for a ticket, and then obviously needed to find a way out to Basel. So I started looking at the flights, which were really expensive. And then in stepped Richard.
Well, I went to the men's final last year with Sam in Berlin, and I promised him if the women got to the final, we would go to Switzerland as well. And unfortunately, our two friends couldn't make it because they've quite rudely gone to Florida this year instead. So I thought, I've got a half-empty car, so I sent a message out, and Sally snapped me up on the offer.
Oh, that's brilliant. So you put a message out on social media offering a car share, and that's how you met?
Yeah. So the first time we met was in a lay-by in Birmingham at 6 o'clock this morning.
Wow. And it's going to be quite a journey. Once you get to Calais, you've got to drive to Basel. How have you prepared for this? And you must be being kept going by excitement. Right, as you will have noticed, there's Sarina Wiegman about to speak. That news conference is beginning now. Sorry to interrupt the interview, but let's listen in to Sarina Wiegman.
And we know that she can have an impact too, so that would be nice.
Thank you. Take a question from the front row.
Did you want me to answer that as well? Yeah, no, I just echo what Sarina says. I think we have a team of talented players. Lauren brings something slightly different, just like the others. So obviously having that available is best case scenario for us.
Martine Sorisch from NRK Norway. Ella Toone spoke yesterday about your speeches before the matches and the importance of what you say to the players before important games. What is your process when planning on what to say to the players, or do you just say something on the spot?
No, I don't really. I think about what I want to say, but that comes quite early before the game starts. So, yeah, just how it feels and what I think I should say.
Thank you. We'll take a question from Jen Dougal at BBC News, please.
Thank you. Hi, both. Leah, to you first, please. There have been several close calls throughout the tournament, of course, where we've been terrified that England were going to go home. But there's a saying that the best teams peak at the right time. Has that been the plan all along?
Yeah, it was all part of the plan. it's making fans got their money's worth. I think you grow in a tournament, and we're aware of that. I think the most important thing for us is, as the game goes on, taking advantage of the work that we've done at the start. And I think in every game, I know that we've left it late, but I think that's been the case. And you know, every team is hard to beat, and every team poses a different threat and challenge, and we have to stay in it for as long as possible until we can take advantage of that. So hopefully you're saying will be true, and the best is yet to come. But yeah, definitely not the plan. We'd like to wrap the games up a little earlier and a little easier if we could have done.
Same question.
Yeah, well, the same answer. Of course, you want to do well. You don't want to make it a nerve-wracking game. But it also shows what the competition is and has been over this tournament. I think the women's game is. I say that all the time, improving so much, and it's so competitive. And every game is a hard game. And I'm just really glad that we made it through. And I hope we had done it a little bit earlier, but. It's also when you are in some scenarios or some situations, you hope you can turn it around with some subs, with a little shape change. But also the most important thing is that the players believe that we can win, and we can take change the game, and that's what we've shown.
Thank you. We'll go to Rob Harris at Sky News, please.
Hi, good luck. Leah, what does it mean to you personally to have the chance to be able to lift a trophy again, and can you grasp just what this means for the nation?
I think we're very connected to what it means to the nation, and in that sense, or as connected as we can be being away from home. I think the opportunity of tomorrow and what's on offer is the best thing in football. We came to the tournament, we wanted to be here, we wanted to be in it till the end and have a chance to fight for that trophy, and you can't do that until you get into the final. So I think we don't necessarily carry the weight of it and how much it means to people, but we're aware of it because it means the same to us. So you have a squad of excited players, focused players, and like I say, we recognise the opportunity and we'll do everything we can to take it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rob. We'll go to Tom Garry at The Guardian.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Leah. You made a lot of history as a team already, but there's a bit of history on the line in that you could be the first England senior team to win a trophy on foreign soil. I'm wondering what that would mean to you as captain, but also can you articulate for us how it's differed being abroad compared to the feeling when you were approaching that Wembley final 3 years ago?
I think the beautiful thing about 22 was that I'm not sure any of us will ever be part of anything like that ever again, in terms of the change, in terms of the story, the journey, everything. Being away from home is special in a different way. You know, you go out to you represent your country somewhere else, and I think the weight of that is important to consider because it sometimes adds a little extra. But I think the history on the line is. It seems that every time this team sort of enter a new year, there's so much to be done and could be done, and I think that is a real privileged time to be part of this team and to be involved. And again, the opportunity that's there to be the first this and the first that all the time for us is a huge motivator, but more just because we know what it would do for women's football and continue the legacy that we've already started.
Good luck.
Thank you
so much, Tom. We'll go to Flo Lloyd-Hughes at The Cutback.
Hi, Sarina. Question for you. In 2022, there was so much discussion around having to get England over the line and fans singing "Football's coming home." I think we've only heard it maybe once for about 30 seconds before the Italy game. So do you feel less pressure now as England head coach all this time when you've had major finals already compared to in 2022?
I think every tournament, of course, you want to perform, and there's expectations, but you also have expectations for yourself. I just know that going into a final is already very, very special, and making the final, there's only 2 teams that can make the final. So if you talk about pressure, that's not really a pressure. It's very special, and when you go to a final, you really want to win it too. So that's how I'm in this. We're happy that we're in the final, and we really want to win it, and we're going to do everything to make that happen.
Thank you. Aisha Galasi from Haters.
Hi, Leah. Just here.
Thank you. Sorry,
that's all right. You touched on it there a little bit, that we saw such an incredible legacy back home on the back of the Euro 2022 win. What do you hope the legacy can be on the back of this 2025 tournament, reaching another final and hopefully winning?
I think the consistency of the girls, obviously I wasn't involved in 2023, and I think the consistency and the landscape keeps changing, and we're trying to change with it, and I think that's a really hard thing to do, and I think that proves the investment and the quality of the game in England is continuing to rise, and I hope that us staying in, you don't just want to be sort of a flash in the pan and like a memory, and I think that when we spoke before 22 we said it was the start of something, and I think we're still trying to play our role in that as well. So being here and being on this stage we know how powerful that is, and I hope that it just continues, and it continues to grow, and the respect for the women's game, the respect for women and women's sport in general continues to, we can try our best to continue to elevate that.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Kit Shepherd at The Times.
Hi, Leah. First of all, how was your ankle that you hurt against Sweden, and kind of related to that, as players coming to the end of a long season, how much more pain are you willing to play through when it comes to a game as big as this?
I can speak for every single member of the squad when I say we would play, as long as we get the green light, we would play through absolutely anything, and to be involved on this stage. My ankle's great. My mum actually rolled her ankle a couple of days ago, so she's taken all the attention away from me now. But no, I had a scare. Obviously I want to be involved and I want to be available to help the team any way they need me, but yeah, obviously played that game, the semi-final, and ready to go tomorrow.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Emma Sanders at BBC.
Hi both, good luck for tomorrow. Leah, just a question for you. Obviously Spain are world champions, and given the fact that they haven't lost a game in this tournament, some people have written off England throughout the tournament. I'd imagine some will write you off tomorrow and say that you're underdogs. What would you say to that?
I think tomorrow we play a game against the world champions, who continue to prove themselves over and over in the way that they play football. They're a fantastic footballing team. They're the best at what they do, and we're very much aware of that. We think that we're pretty good in some areas as well, so we need to be at our best to beat Spain. I think they need to be at their best to beat us too, but I think there's a lot of respect between the two teams, and I'd be hesitant to rule a clear underdog in this scenario, but ultimately, like I said, we go in against the world champions tomorrow. That's not an easy job, and yeah, we'll be as ready as we'll prepare ourselves as best we can for that challenge.
Thanks, Emma. We'll go to Kat Lucas at the Eye. Thank you.
Hi, Leah. 2 years ago, you watched the World Cup final in the stadium, but on the sidelines. Can you just talk us through the emotion of that, and the night before that game, how you were feeling, and how that compares to now?
It was awful. Do you know that? I mean, I think once you're part of a team, being on the outside, and I know how tired you are when you get to that stage, and how much a tournament takes out of you, and to be completely useless, that probably bothered me the most. But to sit with the families, knowing what they go through, and that actually makes me reflect on this tournament, and we haven't been very kind to them at all. But it's yeah, I think that feels like a really long time ago, which is probably a benefit for the whole squad. But yeah, anybody would give anything to be part of their team when they're going through moments like that. So it was tough. The only plus was sitting next to Jill, I suppose, and sharing it with somebody who knew what it felt like.
Thank you. And Serena, same to you. I mean, what does it mean to have Leah fit and available for you as your captain?
Yeah, of course. I'm very happy with that. And as I'm very happy that we have 23 players available for tomorrow, and yeah, Leah has a big role in the team, so it's really nice to have her on the pitch.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go to Sophie Downey at Goals on the Ball, right at the back, please. Thank you. Thanks so much.
Hey, just a question for you both. Obviously, a weird quirk of this schedule has been that you've faced Spain twice in the last 6 months. So I guess, what was the biggest learnings from those ones? And is it a good thing that you kind of have that experience now?
Well, I think, we've played each other a lot over the last couple of years. Also comes, of course, with the Nations League, how that's set up. I think you always have learnings. They will learn from us, and we will learn from them in the games we've played. And tomorrow is a new situation where we have an opportunity to hopefully take out their strengths a bit and exploit some of the weaknesses we think they have too.
Yeah, I think obviously it's hard because you don't want to get too. You can't focus on the last game too much, whatever that may be. So we look at Spain this tournament. I'm sure they've looked at us in the same way, and tomorrow's a new game, and I'm sure we'll present new challenges. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go to Charlotte Harper at The Athletic.
Can I pass that through?
Thank you.
Hi Serena, hi Leah. Question for Leah. Leah, you said Kira Walsh keeps taking the mick out of you because every tournament you go to, you have a new hobby and you don't follow through with it.
Yeah.
So what's your hobby this tournament, or hobbies? And at Euro 2022, you refused to pack your suitcase until after the final. Have you packed at all during this tournament, or is there a moment where, like, sugar, everything's out on the floor and we're going home?
No, it'll be the same fashion as the last one. They almost have to remove me from a tournament. No packing has happened. And I didn't know what you were going to say, because she takes the mick at me for everything, let alone having a new hobby. But I suppose this time I did bring like a portable keyboard, and I felt discouraged because I heard that some of the other girls in the team had been playing theirs, and I felt like I was too far behind, so I just sort of left it. Played it a couple of times, but there's so much socialising to be done. I don't have time for hobbies.
So another hobby not quite followed through?
No, but that will be picked up when I get back, and Charles, my piano teacher, in case he hears that as well.
Thanks very much. All the best for tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thanks, Charlotte. We'll go to Susie Rack at The Guardian, please. Thank you.
Hey both. Leah, obviously there's been a bit of talk about various records and things. You could potentially lift a second major tournament trophy as England captain, which would be a huge milestone, and also do a club and international double European trophy-wise within the space of 2 months. How much do you reflect on sort of these personal milestones and what it would mean to you?
I think they're the things that maybe when you step away from football and later down the line maybe you look back, but for now I don't know, I don't play, play a team sport. I think for all of us, all 23, you share it, you feel like you share those things, and somebody has to wear an armband, somebody has to do the role, but we don't necessarily, I think we all just feel it together, and it's less about I won this and more we always. So of course there'll be lovely things to talk about later down the line, and if you want to look at success that way, I would probably say that success to me is happiness in your circumstance and your company, and I think that's more important than those things to me anyway.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks, Susie. We'll go to Tash Dowie at TalkSport, please. Thanks.
Best of luck to both of you tomorrow. Serena, a bit of an odd one, but I want to get into your head because I think that there's been many a times this tournament where all of us probably in this room with minutes to go, having heart attacks, thinking that you're going home, and you just always seem so calm and cool on the sideline. And really in those moments, is a lot of your decision making instinctive? Is any of it pre-planned? Can you just kind of give us, so that hopefully it doesn't go like that tomorrow, but when we are all having heart attacks, we exactly know what's going through your head?
First, I'm having a heart attack too. I just don't show it. No, yes, well, we want to be best prepared, so that's in our style of play, but also we're trying to prepare on what can happen in the game and what do we need, and that's also how the squad is built. So on the 5th of June we had a squad announcement, and then we figured out, okay, what player we might need in certain circumstances if we want to change things, and that's what we talk about all the time, and that's how we prepare for a game. So we have spoken through all the scenarios, but then during the game then it's a sense of what you think is necessary. And of course, there's continuous contact with the technical staff on the bench, but also with the staff in the stands who inform us about everything. So what we want to do is when we want to change, we can make a decision very quick.
So we can all relax tomorrow now, guys. Nice.
I hope so.
Thanks, Tash. We'll take a question from there.
Florian Paco from Blick in Switzerland. Tomorrow, Hannah Hampton will probably have a lot to do. How do you describe her tournament and how important is she in the group?
Yeah, well, I hope she will not be too busy tomorrow. But yes, of course, she is on a very good way on her journey. This is her first major tournament that she is a starting goalkeeper, and she's done really well, I think. And I hope she can show that tomorrow too.
Thank you. We'll go to Good Morning Britain in the middle of the run. Thanks.
Hiya, massive good luck from all of us for you tomorrow. There's been some outcry from a significant number of fans about a good luck message from the royal family that was posted ahead of the finals. It includes a picture of the entire squad, but it's missing Michelle Adjemang. I was curious to see if you both had any comment to the fans that might be upset about it.
Yeah, I think that would never ever be intentional. I think the message from the royal family is that they really, really support us, and we really, really appreciate that. And they support every single player and staff member. So I hope that everyone really appreciate that. And yeah, so yeah, it's unfortunate. I think that she's not on that picture. Then is what you said, but there's all good intentions.
Thank you. Catherine Bassett from The Telegraph.
Hi, question for Leah. A lot has been talking about this never say die attitude that England have shown to get here, and it reminded me of a quote you used in 2022 about nobody wins, afraid of losing. And I wondered kind of how important that's been in terms of not letting fear take over but staying calm in the biggest moments.
I think that's the main thing. You can, I mean, if you're fearful of losing, then even if you win, do you enjoy that experience? Do you fully take it in? Do you give everything that you have, or are you expending energy in the wrong way? And I think this team is so task focused, and so I don't know. You know, like whatever's in our way, then we'll try and overcome that together. I don't think we're a team fearful of losing. I think football anything can happen, and there's so much out of your control. We focus on being the best people we can to each other, performing the best that we can, and hopefully that gives you the result that you want. But definitely not fearful of losing, because it does. You expend energy in ways that yeah, you don't want to.
Thanks, Catherine. We'll go to Tom Victor at the Daily Mirror. Thanks.
Hi both. Leah, we heard from Ella Toon yesterday talking about the challenge of being off the pitch for the penalty shootout against Sweden, not being able to kind of contribute. Just wanted to, obviously you were off the pitch at that moment as well, and for the end of the Italy game, and I want to know how that compares to 23 when you were not playing as much of a part, and what it says about the other leaders in the squad in those moments.
Yeah, same sort of feeling. Obviously, your role becomes slightly redundant, but there's still ways that you can affect the team. We have a big process for those moments, so even if you're off the pitch, you have a role to play. So it's maybe easier than being in the stands. Also because you get to run on and celebrate with your team when they do well. But I think we have so many leaders in so many different ways. So you have your real conventional ways of leadership that people would recognise, and then I think you have people that offer certain things in certain moments, and they know that that's their bag, so to speak, and they really step up. And I think we have a lot of those characters that are, maybe we've created a good environment for those people to feel comfortable enough to do it. But I do feel like everybody really knows when they can really sort of step up and contribute, and they have done.
Thanks. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. We'll just take a question.
Hello. Hello. I'm Siani Dalma from L'Équipe, the French newspaper. I read an excellent article in The Guardian that says that the team which play his semi-final in first has an advantage to win the final. Did you know that, and did you read this article, and what do you think about that?
I don't. Can you translate?
Tom, you go. We got.
Oh, okay. I think I understand your question. What we just we played the semi-final first. What we just really enjoyed is that we had an extra day of rest after a very intense group stage where we had only 3 days in between every game and towards the quarter-final. So we really used that extra day off, and hopefully that will help us tomorrow.
Okay, thank you. We'll take a question in the middle row. Great.
Good afternoon, both. I'm Maria Ticas from Diario Sport in Barcelona. I have one question for Leah. I have to ask you in Spanish. How is it to play with Mariona now that you know her, you are teammates, and if you have talked with her about this final? Thank you.
I think Mariona is an exceptional player. I've loved her being my teammate at Arsenal. Especially in my position, I normally just get to stand and watch her magic. Hopefully not tomorrow. But no, I haven't spoken to her, and I do miss her actually. So I'm looking forward to the end of the game when we're all friends again. But yeah, no, she's an exceptional footballer, a good person. I'm very happy that she is my teammate. And tomorrow, hopefully, there's other players that played with her as well. So hopefully that'll come to our advantage. Thank you.
Thank you. We've got time for one final question. We'll go to the back. I think Spanish media at the back. Thank you.
Hi, Sara Gutierrez from the Spanish National Radio. I would like to ask you the same question for both, which is, how do you spend the last hours before the final game? I don't know if you prefer just to disconnect, forget about football, or just be focused on the final game. Thank you.
I basically do every match day the same, so I relax. Don't do that much right before the game. Just get prepared, and we are prepared because all the preparation has been done at that time, and I'm just waiting till the game starts.
I'll be playing Monopoly Deal with the girls and having a nap always. Anybody that has ever played with me knows that has to happen.
Great. Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate some people still wanted to ask some questions, but we've run out of time. So we'll see many of you tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Well, there we are. Leah Williamson ending that 28-year-old England Lionesses captain, and Sarina Wiegman, the Dutch England manager, leaving that news conference, which had questions from all over Europe, just showing the huge amount of interest in tomorrow's final and the pathway that England have had towards that final. Talking about what they did in the match day itself to prepare for the match, and Leah Williamson saying that she takes a nap, as people who play with her are used to. And Sarina Wiegman has been talking too about the journey that England have had along this way, which has not been straightforward. There have been some extremely nail-biting moments when England's future in the tournament looked very uncertain. But Sarina Wiegman there talking to the media alongside captain Leah Williamson before Sunday evening's Euro 2025 final. And just to let you know, we are expecting a news conference from Spain. Their manager Montse Tomé and captain Irene Paredes will be giving their news conference. It was scheduled for in about 15 minutes time. I don't know if that's going to be affected because the England news conference ran a bit late, started a bit late, but they've been talking about what they are going to expect from the final tomorrow. Also what the fact that they've faced Spain twice already this year, and Liam Williamson was saying you don't want to get too caught up on the last game, so we look at Spain this tournament. I'm sure they look at us in the same way. Tomorrow is a new game. It will present new challenges, and they were very pleased to say that they'd had an extra day to prepare, saying we played the first semi-final. We enjoyed an extra day of rest after a very intense group stage, as everyone who watched will have experienced. So we really used that extra day off, and hopefully that will help us tomorrow. There are a whole range of questions just looking at the live page, talking about Hannah Hampton making her first start as England goalkeeper. This is her first major tournament where that's happened, and Sarina Wiegman talking about Hannah Hampton, saying, "I hope she will not be too busy tomorrow. This is her first major tournament where she is the starting goalkeeper, and she has done very well." Leah Williamson also talking about the fact England may have been labelled the underdogs in the final. Tomorrow we play the world champions, who continue to prove themselves over and over. They're a fantastic footballing team, the best at what they do. We're aware of that, but we think we're pretty good in some areas too. We need to be at our best to beat Spain. Now, Jane Dougal was in that news conference, BBC Sports. Jane Dougal still in the room. Good to see you, Jane. And you broached the subject of how close England have been at various points to getting knocked out on this journey to the final. What did they say?
Yeah, obviously England have had a slightly rocky tournament so far. They lost their opening game 2-1 to France. They then recovered to beat the Netherlands 4-0 and then Wales 6-1, coming second in their group. But then as they got into the quarter-finals, it was a really tight game because they were losing 2-0 to Sweden. They then did manage to equalise, scored 2 goals, but it was right at the last minute of extra time when they equalised, which meant that it went to penalties. Though that penalty shootout was chaotic at best, and with every penalty miss that we watched, we thought England were going out. So it was by the skin of their teeth that they did win that match in the quarter-finals. Then, of course, England get to the semi-finals, playing Italy in Geneva, and yet again, it was a really difficult watch for any England fan. England were losing 1-0 to Italy right up until the 96th minute before they equalised, taking it to extra time and then getting a winner again in the last few minutes of extra time, a Chloe Kelly penalty to make it 2-1 and then putting England through to the final. So yes, throughout this tournament so far, I don't think it would be an understatement to say that England haven't fulfilled their potential yet. We have all seen England play far better than they have done at this tournament. And yes, I did put it to Captain Leah Williamson, who we've just been hearing from, that the best teams peak at the right time of a tournament, and I asked her if that had been the plan all along. Obviously slightly jokey, because of course it wasn't. She said no, it wasn't the plan all along. She was being sarcastic. And she does realise what the fans go through. She has sat with the families on occasion. She says she doesn't like putting them through that heartache, that nerve-wracking moments when they think that their loved ones, their team, are going home. I put the same question to Sarina as well, and she said that obviously what they want to do is to do it in 90 minutes, because she doesn't want her team to have to play another 120 minutes, because of course at this stage of the tournament, and Leah Williamson said this, all of the members of the 23 members of the squad are tired. Of course they are. It's been a long tournament. They've been out here for 4 weeks now, going on to 5. We did start off by asking if Lauren James was fit. Now, Lauren James was pulled off at half-time in the semi-final against Italy because she looked like she had hurt her ankle. She sat in the dugout with ice on her ankle. We didn't know the extent of the injury, but Sarina did say that she wasn't, yesterday, she said that she wasn't sure if Lauren James would be available. Now, if that had been the case, that would be a big blow for England. On her day, Lauren James is a world-class player. She scored 2 goals in this tournament. She did so well for England in the World Cup 2 years ago in Sydney, in Australia and New Zealand. So for her not to play in the final this time around for these Euros, it would be a personal blow for her, but also it would be difficult for England. So Wiegman was asked about it just here in this news conference, and she said that Lauren James did train. She did train a little earlier today. She said she would be available. Now, whether she starts or not, we don't know. And of course, Sarina Wiegman isn't going to tell us what her starting lineup is going to be for tomorrow's final against the world champions Spain. We also know, though, that there have been a lot of England fans, England supporters, crying out for other players to start. Now, those other players are the super subs that we have watched throughout, Chloe Kelly and Michelle Adjemande, who, Michelle, of course, 19 years old, but what an emerging talent she has been. She got the equaliser in the match against Sweden and the equaliser in the match against Italy, so many people have been asking for her to start. The same with Chloe Kelly. She set up both the goals in the Sweden match and she scored the winning penalty in the Italy match. So, some England fans would like to see them start. Others would just like to see them being brought on a little earlier, because when Sarina Wiegman has made her substitutions, they have been late. And that has been when it has been a close call for England. She's made those substitutions, and those substitutions have made an impact, and then they've made a difference. And more often than not, they've won the game for England. Now, if England were to play the way that they played against France, perhaps, the way that they played against Italy, against Spain tomorrow, they will be punished. Because the Spanish team is just a side filled with world-class players. And don't forget, of course, they are the world champions. And the last time England played them in a major tournament was the World Cup final in Sydney 2 years ago, when Spain beat them. Many times the comparison has been made between that final and tomorrow's final. Of course it has. But we have to remember that the sides have changed considerably. So there are different members of the team who have come up through the ranks for the England squad, including Michelle Adjemande, and also people like Grace Clinton as well, who've come up into the squad and who've started to be members of the first team. And it is the same for Spain. You know, they've had a couple of retirements. They've also had players who've not been selected who were selected during the World Cup, for example, Jenny Hermoso too. So that's something to consider, that there will be different squads this time around. But also you have to keep in mind that England say that they didn't play their best in that World Cup final 2 years ago, and they say that they're going to be playing their best tomorrow. That's why I said to Leah Williamson, the best teams peak at the right time, and they say that they are going to peak tomorrow against Spain, and they will have to.
Jane, thank you very much. Jane Dougal there in the room where that news conference has just finished. Just to say that we are expecting Spain to give their news conference. Their manager and their captain will be talking very soon. But let's stay in Basel and go over to what's going on outside in the city. Emma Vardy, my colleague, is there where the fans are. Emma.
Well, this is the old town of Basel. We're across the city from where the big match is taking place tomorrow evening. But right now, this is a fan zone where all the fans are just hanging out, enjoying the day before the nerves start. Let's go and give you a flavour of the atmosphere. You've just missed Sweet Caroline. Everyone was on their feet. You'd think Sarina Wiegman would be with her players, but I spotted her down here. Where's Sarina? There she is, I found her, here she is. Hi Sarina, how's it going? She's down here with the fans too. As you can see, everyone's having a pretty good time. Right, come with me, we're going to have a chat to a group of ladies. Well, they're all part of a team themselves actually. They've come here from Crystal Palace. Hello ladies. Hello. I promised I'd come back to you. Tell us where you're all from, what brought you all together here.
So we all play football for Palace for Life Foundation. We play walking and rec football, and we're here to support the Lionesses.
How long's this trip been in the planning then?
Since last October. We bought the tickets not knowing who was going to be in the final. Took a gamble on it, and then as the competition went on, we thought, oh my gosh, it's getting closer and closer, and are we going to actually make it? We can't believe we're actually here seeing our own team, and we're really, really excited.
Oh, it's all happened for you. How are you feeling ahead of tomorrow?
I'm feeling excited, but actually a bit nervous too, because obviously Spain are a phenomenal side. So it's going to be difficult, but I think the Lionesses will break through and win the game.
Oh, such a tough one, isn't it? How's the atmosphere been down here for you?
Oh, this is a lovely town. Everybody is so friendly and welcoming. We're having a great time. And yeah, it's just going to be our year. We'll bring it home. We're going to be.
All right, ladies.